Hello, Namaskar, Khambagani people. Welcome back to our channel, Professor Tiwari, and my name is Amrita. So today we're going to continue with the same topic from class 11, that is the cell unit of life, and in that we'll proceed further in the we'll learn more about the cell organelles. Now we'll enter inside the cell, or we'll discuss more about the outside the cell structures first. So let's continue. Like in the last class we learned about the cell membrane, which is the outer part of the, or which you can say which is an outer layer of the cell membrane or of the cell. So today we're going to learn about the next cell organelle, which is the cell wall. Okay. Now a very important thing about the cell wall is that I'll just make a small diagram over here just to make you understand like what is cell wall. This is your cell. Okay, this is your cell and this is your cell membrane is been there. I just make it porous because it is porous in nature. Alright, now talking about the cell wall. This is your cell wall. Okay, this is your cell wall, and the one which is with the black color is your cell membrane. Okay, now we have to understand a very important thing over here is that the cell wall is actually not the part of animals. So it is not present in animals, though it is a feature of a eukaryotic organisms or of eukaryotic cells, but it is not the part of animals. So who else, then which organisms or who else contains this cell wall? So like cell wall is present in which organisms? Then cell wall is mainly present in your plants and fungi. Okay, so the existence of cell wall is actually in the plants and in the fungi. Now what is the role of this cell wall? Okay, the cell wall is actually, it provides strength and support to the cell, because see all these organisms, like if you talk about the plants or if you talk about the fungi, these have to live outside in a very harsh environment, and they have to withstand with all kind of weather or with all kind of environment temperature. Okay, so in that condition they need a extra covering which can actually support them, which can provide them structure, okay, a solid structure, and can also make them ready or also support them to withstand against that harsh conditions, harsh environmental conditions. So in that case it provides cell strength and support. What other thing it's provide? It actually do cell to cell interaction. Okay, it helps in cell to cell interaction. All right. Okay, so which means if one cell has to interact with another cell, it helps in the interaction with that too. We'll discuss in later like how does it help or what does it do actually. Okay, now other thing, like as I told you that the plants and the fungi, they both have cell wall present into them, but to the structure of cell wall is similar in plants and fungi. So definitely not. If you just look at the structure of fungus, you will see that the fungus is actually quite a soft kind of a thing, okay, or you can see the algae. Even if you just look at the algae too, it is a soft kind of a thing. If I talk about the algae over here, algae, okay, when I talk about the algae, so the algae is actually being made up of 4 or 5 things. If I just write them over here, it is cellulose, it is galactans, okay, mannose, all right, what more, and some calcium carbonate. Okay, it contains calcium carbonate also. So these are the things which are present, which actually compose the cell wall of the fungi or of the algae, which means it contains cellulose, it contains an element called compound called galactans, it contains mannose, it contains some calcium carbonate present into them. Okay, but what with the plants? Do plants contains the same compounds in the composition of cell wall? Then we will say cellulose is the one which is common between the algae, between the composition of cell wall in algae and in plants. Cellulose is the only one. Other than that we have hemicellulose. Okay, what else? We have pectin and we have proteins. Okay, all right, okay, fine. So we have all these things, like if you just look at the composition or the compounds which are present in the cell wall of algae and plant, which means in the plants and fungi. Okay, so algae have cellulose, galactans, mannose, some calcium carbonate is present into them, but not same is not the case with the plants. Plants and algae only share one common compound, that is the cellulose, which is present in both of their plant cell wall. It also contains hemicellulose, it contains pectin, and it also contains proteins. Okay, now moving ahead to the cell, to this whole thing, is that what about your young plants? Like as I said, that if you just look at the outer structure of a plant, okay, you will see that we have the a very hard bark which has been there. So that is actually a part of a cell, that is a cell wall only, but that cell wall is actually the dead part. It is a dead cell, okay, which means every time a cell wall is been there, it will further it will age, then it will get dead, so it will deposit as a thick layer, which we see as a solid bark structure. Okay, now if you just look at the structure of this cell wall, if you just look at the young plants, what happened in young plants? So if you just look at the young plants, then in the case of the young plants actually have a primary, I would say, a primary cell wall. Young plants have primary cell wall, but this primary cell wall will actually, if I just write it over here, actually degrade. This primary cell wall will gonna degrade once the plants will gonna start grow older and grow bigger. Okay, so it will gonna start degrading. Now what will happen during the degradation of the primary cell wall? There will be a secondary cell wall that will come up. Okay, now this secondary cell wall, the formation of the secondary cell wall will actually be inside primary cell wall. If I just try to explain it to you, this whole thing with the help of a diagram, if I just make it, okay, I just make a cell membrane over here. Okay, so this is your cell membrane, okay, of your cell, of a young cell, I would say. Okay, this is a cell wall of your young cell. All right, now what happens? I'm just making a structure of primary cell wall with the help of a red color. Okay, so this is your primary cell wall which has been there in the young plants. It is like this. Okay, now I just make a bit bigger so that we can make a secondary cell wall also. Okay, now this is your cell wall, this is your cell membrane. Okay, now this is your primary cell wall with the red color. Okay, so this primary cell wall you will always find it in the young plants. Okay, but the adult plants, if I would say, adult plants, okay, the grown up plants which are being grown up, they will gonna have this they will gonna get this secondary cell wall. How they will gonna get the secondary cell wall? This primary cell wall will start degrading and there will be a formation of secondary cell wall that will take place like this. Okay, so if I just mention it, this is your secondary cell wall. Okay, this is your primary cell wall. All right, and this one is your cell membrane, which is the inner part of the cell. Okay, so we have three things. So this will start degrading as the plant will gonna grow. The primary cell wall will start degrading, and there will be the formation of the secondary cell wall that will take place inside the primary cell wall. So secondary cell wall will emerge or will develop inside the secondary cell wall, which means it will be present between the cell membrane and the primary cell wall. Okay, fine. I hope this is being clear to you. Now moving ahead into this one, we have one or two things over here in this topic to discuss over here in this one, is that cell wall, that we have one thing called middle lamella. We have middle lamella. Okay, now this middle lamella is actually what is the role of this middle lamella? This is your cell wall, and this is the cell membrane and your cell wall of one cell. Okay, this is one more cell. All right, and this is another cell membrane. So these are the two cells of the same organism, suppose of the same plant. So this is the one cell and this is another cell. Suppose it's a plant. If I just say it's a plant. This is the plant. Okay, this is the plant and it has these two cells. Alright, now what will happen to these cells is that in between these two cell walls, the green ones, the cell wall is with the green ones and the cell membrane is with the black ones. In between them, they will gonna have another layer present. This is your middle lamella. Okay, so middle lamella actually, it's a middle layer between both of these cells. Okay, and what does it do? What does it do? It actually helps in forming an interaction. As I told you, we discussed about cell to cell interaction. So it actually helped in between the cell to cell interaction that takes place between the two cells within the same organism. So it acts as a it will act as a communication thing, that if this cell has to communicate with this cell, it will communicate with the help of its middle lamella. Other than that, if you just look at the middle lamella, one more thing was been there, that your cell wall and your middle lamella, okay, they are actually traversed, or which means you can say cross. Okay, they cross each other. How do they cross each other? They actually cross each other with the help of plasmodesmata. Okay, this plasmodesmata actually connects the cytoplasm of two cells. Like how it happens, if I just make it somewhat like this. Okay, this is your plasmodesmata. Okay, so this is your cell wall. This is your cell membrane. I am just writing the short form for the cell membrane. Okay, so this plasmodesmata actually connects, or it actually crosses the cell wall and your middle lamella. It crosses and it interacts with the cytoplasm. It joins the cytoplasm of the two adjacent cells or the cells which are nearby to each other. Okay, so it acts as a bridge between them. Okay, if this cell has to interact with this cell, then it uses the middle lamella, but if the cytoplasm of the two cells have to interact with each other, it interacts with the help of plasmodesmata, which crosses the cell wall and the middle lamella. Okay, now this is all about your cell wall. I hope you have understood this well. Now we have the other thing which is being called as the endoplasmic membranes. We will discuss next in the next one. And the endoplasmic membranes actually contains various type of cell organelles. Like it contains the endoplasmic reticulum, as the title itself says. The endoplasmic reticulum, it covers the Golgi complex has been there. You have the vacuoles over there. And you have the lysosomes, which means those part or those organs of the cells which are connected straight with the endoplasmic reticulum, which is just present outside the cell. If you just look at the structure of the cell, this is the structure of your cell, and you have the somewhat this kind of a structure for your endoplasmic reticulum, and then you have your Golgis. Okay, then you have your lysosomes. We have discussed lysosomes about lysosomes in class 9th playlist. You can just check out over there. We'll discuss over here too. Okay, and then in the end you have your vacuoles. I'm just making vacuoles with the black color. So we have vacuoles. So those organelles of the cells which actually interacts with the or which have a connected role with each other, like the endoplasmic reticulum, the Golgi complex, the vacuoles and the lysosomes, they are being called as endomembrane. They are being called as endoplasmic membranes. Okay, they are being called as endoplasmic membranes. So what are the endoplasmic membranes? If I just talk about the third one, endoplasmic membrane. Okay, so what contains endoplasmic membrane? I just write the name. A endoplasmic reticulum, B. Golgi complex, C. Lysosomes, and D. Vacuoles. Okay, these are the part of endoplasmic membrane, alright. But the other organelles, that is mitochondria, chloroplast, okay, these one actually don't interact with endoplasmic reticulum directly, so they don't come under the endoplasmic membrane thing. And we'll discuss the next thing, that is endoplasmic reticulum, in the next session tomorrow. We'll discuss it tomorrow in the next session, whenever we have the next session, might be to the next week. If you have any questions or any doubts in this whole topic that we have discussed today, the cell wall and the brief description about the endoplasmic membranes that we have just seen, what are endoplasmic membrane or what are not, why they are not. If you have any doubt in them, you can drop a question in the comment section, and please like, share, subscribe our channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon for more such updates. Thank you. Bye.